Hi, neighbor! Welcome back to our show. My name is Ariela Allen.
And I'm Alana Jones. We're so excited for this week's episode.
I had the awesome opportunity to stop by the Celebration of Women's Artistry event that showcased women of color and the work they've done. I also had the chance to sit down with a member of Saga for a follow-up interview on the drag show.
And I had the chance to go to Acapellagedon and even talk to some of the groups that competed. Also, our own Ryan Perrone stopped by the students' favorite bar in town, Lily's, as they hosted Cosmic Night with 3 different bands. Join us as we say,
Hi, neighbor!
So didn't you go to the Women in Artistry thing?
Yeah, I did. It was absolutely amazing. So the organization that put it on was Queen and You, and they did a superb job. They had so many different types of artists for some of our audience members who were and weren't there. Multimedia art, they had some musicians perform, as well as an awesome impromptu fashion show at the end. So there was no way to look away, I guess is the easiest way of saying it.
Yeah, I can't wait. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
For one App State organization, it was a night for the ages. The group Queen and You, an organization of young professional and collegiate students who dedicate the time to push towards the advancement of colored women, put on a Women in Artistry event, and our very own Ariela Allen had to go out into the field to discover what all the action was about.
I'm here with Jemiah Williams and Michaela Ray, the president and vice president of Queen and You, the organization that put on tonight's event. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
So take me to the beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about where you got the inspiration for tonight's event?
Really, I'm a feminist, and I believe in supporting women, showcasing women, and showcasing art. And so one night I was just like, Michaela, let's do an event where we showcase women's art. And she's lovely, because she was like, yeah, like, well, I'm for it. So, yeah, that's kind of how that came about.
Hi, this is Jemiah. I was definitely just like, tell me where you want it. I'll put it there. I'll do it. I was definitely one like behind the scenes, making sure everybody was like getting their stuff done, make sure people were turning things in on time. But it was Jemiah's initial idea. I just made sure that it came to life in the right way. I made sure that everything was where it was supposed to be. I definitely advocated for her a lot when it came to the models and the artists, and just like Jemiah said she wants it this way, y'all. Make sure it's this way. Not like she's like a dictator.
Queen and You's main mission is for the empowerment of women of color, and then also, by extension, all women. We focus on the education, professionalism, community service, all these things that support women and advance them in society. So with this event, to me personally, I took it as a way to educate people about art and how women have really exceeded in art and a lot of those things, and then also to empower us to know that we can model, we can play music, we can do all these type of things that are amazing.
Indeed, there were many empowering women who attended the event, including models, musicians, and artists. And Ariela got to talk to a couple.
So Camille, can you tell us a little bit about how you got your start as an artist?
Ever since I was little, I loved to draw and paint and just think and problem solve and do anything creative, really. And then it just kind of translated into a path for me. Femininity means to me a lot of different things, but primarily it means being creative and intuitive and chaotic in the best way, which I chose specific things tonight to express that and that experience for me.
So was there a specific piece from tonight's showcase that you think particularly exemplifies your beliefs about gender and femininity and inequality or equality, depending on where you took the argument?
Yeah, I think that they all do. I think that the mistaken zygote is one that really captures that experience for me and has the intuition pulling on the tail of the subject while also societal standards having the arms of the subject behind their back.
I started painting around my sophomore year of high school, and I just worked my way up. I first started with acrylic paints, and then I started to develop a new art style to where I felt like it was more creative and it was more innovative. So as I worked my way up into my high school career, into my senior year, I started doing more mixed media and more oil paintings and more bigger projects. My main thing about me being an artist, especially being a POC artist, I want to bring awareness to POC communities and want to show the beauty in POC communities, because we're not really showcased as much, and we're not seeing so much art in like POC communities. So me as a POC person with this talent, I want to use my talent to bring awareness, to bring the beauty out of people and showing people this is what POCs are made out of, and this is who we are, and this is what we represent.
Yeah, so today I performed the song What It Means to Be a Woman, and it was actually inspired by conversations that I had with the women in my life, and we came up with a conglomerate, I guess, idea of what it means to be a woman according to society and according to the empowered body that I am. My family's from Mexico, and I'm from North Carolina, and I never really got connected to those roots, and that was actually my first song that I've ever written with Spanish in it. And so it was definitely a piece that, I guess, shows part of my heritage, but a confidence in myself of being able to own that.
Right, and building on top of that, where does femininity come into that piece in particular?
I definitely spoke about how it feels to be a woman as being put in a box. And so when I spoke about femininity, I actually used the lyrics, where femininity is not accepted, it's exploited, then adored. And I feel like that's what society thinks of femininity at times, but we should represent it with more confidence and accept it as part of us.
An empowering night for all involved. For Hi Neighbor and Ariela Allen, I'm Noah C. Cornelius. Bye, neighbor.
Live from the Beasley Media Complex in Boone, this is the Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Zenamreen Lopez.
And I'm Stephen Biddix. The Appalachian Regional Healthcare System will be opening a new behavioral hospital in Linville on November 15th. The hospital will open in a tiered schedule starting with 10 open beds on the 17th, 15 on November 29th, 20 on December 13th, and full capacity of 27 beds on December 27th. The new building will be able to serve over 1,500 people per year, which is up from 560 in the prior building. The building will also be split into 3 different sections: admissions, the treatment mall, and the residence hall. The goal of the new building is to be able to more efficiently treat patients, create a safe and secure space for patients, while also creating a healing environment within the mountains.
Some families of students at Watauga High School owe several hundreds of dollars after participating in a viral TikTok trend that's caused damage to the buildings. The quote, "Devious Licks Challenge" encourages students to steal from and vandalize school bathrooms for views. The trend is causing a nuisance to WHS's custodial crew, who say they've had to close restrooms throughout the day in order to repair them. Already understaffed and overworked, custodians are being pulled from their routine work to apply fresh coats of paint or replace missing hardware in bathrooms. Among these instances, there are also reports of stolen soap dispensers, inappropriate phrases on the walls, and objects being thrown at the ceiling. Consequences for these students have not only been financial, they can also range from school-level discipline to even criminal charges.
And that's our report for this week. I'm Stephen Biddix.
And I'm Zenamreen Lopez.
For all of us here at the Appalachian Weekly News, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hi neighbor! Today I'm sitting down with Felix Noel, president of App Sexuality and Gender Alliance, also known as Saga. Join us as we discuss Saga, its growth as an organization pre- and post-pandemic, and its role in cultivating the High Country's LGBTQIA2S+ community. Felix, thank you so much for speaking with us today. Could you tell us a little bit about Saga as well as your involvement in it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Saga is, as you said, the Sexuality and Gender Alliance. We are kind of the big umbrella queer club here at App State. So we work in tandem with the LGBT Center and the other of the 2 tri-clubs, which is ASPEC and Transaction. But we differ in that we provide a weekly meeting and a social space at those meetings, activities and such. And we are also an open club. So we welcome people of all identities openly, and we also extend that openness to members of the community as well as students.
That's awesome, and I really love how you're cultivating the community by working with other pre-existing organizations. That's so important to have everyone's voice be heard in different kinds of spaces. And if I'm not mistaken, you're the president for the 3rd year in a row, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So can you tell us a little bit about how Saga has changed pre-pandemic and post-pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. So during the pandemic, we kind of had to switch from doing our meetings in the union every week to doing them online and kind of doing what we could online. We more or less had to cancel all of our larger events, such as like the drag shows and our trips and such that we tend to do. But this year we are back and better than ever. We're meeting in person again. We still had to put off doing any trips for this semester, but we wanted to do what we could in the way of drag post-pandemic. And try and bring everybody back together in a space and be there for the queer community.
Yeah, and I really love how you mentioned how even though Saga had to be virtual for a little while, like you still were able to cultivate those connections, and I'm sure it must be so rewarding to get to see those connections in person and in their support of events like the drag show, which we actually covered last week. So could you tell us a little bit more about the drag show and how its proceeds went to support Saga's mission as an organization?
Yeah, absolutely. So the drag show this semester was an amateur drag show. It's a little out of the ordinary for us to do one in the fall, but we wanted to kind of step up to doing it again because it's been a little while. But all the proceeds from the drag show go to Saga. They fund our meetings so that we can actually provide that space every week for people. And also, assuming that we have the money to do so and the restrictions are okay to do so, we subsidize our group, our members coming on group trips with us, such as like Pride or Camp Saga, because we want everybody to be included no matter whether or not they can pay. And then also we have a scholarship that it's been a little while since we've been able to run just because funds have been tight due to the pandemic. But it's a scholarship that supports students who have lost their financial funding from their family due to their queer identities. So.
Wow, I had no idea that Saga was so in-depth and intense about all the resources it could offer to students, particularly the last point you mentioned about the scholarship for students who have been almost excommunicated from their families just based off of their identity. And as someone who's part of the queer community, I really appreciate Saga's insight into that aspect of our queer community's lives and is taking steps to support them in any way they can. So outside of the drag show, and we've talked about the scholarship you've offered, what other steps has Saga taken to cultivate a queer culture on campus?
Yeah. So what we kind of do for folks is we provide that kind of like equal but opposite space to the center where we serve the same communities, but we kind of serve different functions within the community. So they're a physical place. You can go sit and talk to queer people around you, just unstructured, enjoying your time with one another. And we do the same kind of thing where we allow queer people to look at each other face to face and say, like, we are all here together and this is the community that we're forming. But we do so in a way that is like that weekly meeting in the evenings when the center tends to be closed. And we actually like get folks doing things together. Honestly, most of our meetings are like things like game nights or like crafts. So it's like kind of silly stuff, but it allows people to actually like sit down and like foster connections outside of like the center's hours and purview.
That's amazing. I really like that emphasis on creating spaces where students feel they can be themselves, or other members of the high country community, since Saga is open to all in Boone, can just come in and get absorbed in that emotion around other people who share your identity in such a safe space for you to do, like you said, different activities, whether it's painting or just hanging out or just taking a moment to breathe after feeling so smothered from whatever students and the other members of our community are facing in their lives. I don't know about everybody else, but I am particularly interested in getting involved in Saga after speaking with you. Who can students and other members of our community and myself reach out to do so? And what account can they follow if Saga has a social media presence?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are at Saga App State
on most platforms. I'd say we post most frequently on our Instagram, but sagaappstate@gmail is also our email account, and our wonderful PR exec, Owen, manages that like a dream. So if you have any questions about us or the club, those are the venues in which you can reach us.
That's amazing. Felix, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. And to all of our audience members out there, anyone who identifies as part of our queer community can probably find some kind of relationship with Saga's efforts to promote queer culture on campus and off of campus as well. If you're inspired, as many of us probably already are, please reach out to Saga, follow their social media presence, and follow them so you can watch your excitement, as well as my own, grow alongside the LGBTQIA2S+ communities through Saga's continued supports of us and the rest of the High Countries community. And until next time, bye, neighbor. How was Acapellagedon?
Oh my God, it was so much fun. There were 5 groups that performed, and they did all amazing. I enjoyed all of their performances that they did. They did great about singing and bringing energy, and I honestly wanted to get up and join them.
You know, I would love to learn more since I didn't get to actually go to the event. Why don't we check it out?
Yeah.
Hi neighbor, Alana Jones here, and I'm here at the Schaefer Center, and we're taking a look at Acapellagedon, where we get to see some great performances, and I had the opportunity to talk to some of the performers afterwards. Let's have a look. Hey neighbor, and what's your name?
Olivia.
Hi, all right, and what got you into acapella to begin with?
I sang in choir in high school, and then I came to App, and Ear Candy was one of the groups. We actually sang one of their arrangements at my high school, and so I always wanted to join Ear Candy, and I just love music and singing, so I'm an acapella, yeah.
Do you ever still get nervous before you go on to do any kind of performance?
Yes, I was very nervous tonight. I was like, but once you get on the stage, you kind of feel it out, and then it feels a lot better. But beforehand, it's nerves, a lot of nerves.
Yeah, I will say none of y'all in your group look like you were scared at all or nervous. You all looked comfortable with it. So are there any differences between competing with levels or just having a normal performance here?
I definitely say competing, I feel like there's more pressure because it's like we're trying to win something, but with regular performances, I feel like there's still a lot of nerves and we're still trying to do our best, but I think competitions are a lot,
So if someone wanted to get into either your group or just a cappella in general here at Appalachian, how would they do that?
So typically, for me at least, I went on their Instagram account and waited to see when they were posting when they were going to have auditions. It's usually in the beginning of each year. Some groups might do it each semester, but usually it's once a year they'll do auditions. So I would check their Instagrams and see when they're having auditions, and then just follow all the instructions that they have on their page, and yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for having this chat with me. Hey guys, and what's your name?
I'm Avery Perkinson.
Hi, so what got you into a cappella to begin with?
So I've been singing since I was 5 years old, but in high school I did a cappella for 4 years, so then I figured why not do a cappella while I'm here too, so.
Right, yeah, so how did you get into this group? How did you find your way to get in?
So I went to the Club Expo Fair and I met this girl Alex, who's no longer in the group, but she was so nice to me and she explained everything so nicely. And I was like, wow, I really want to be a part of these people. They're so nice. And we had to audition to get in. So it was a hard process, but I was so happy I got in. So.
Yeah, and how long have you been in this group?
3 years, but I'm a senior because I'm graduating early, so it's my last year.
Yeah. Do you enjoy performing here at Appalachian or going out to do other performance, competitive-wise?
Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun, and we get to meet so many new people, and all a cappella groups on this campus are so nice, and we are all so supportive, and that's so nice to have them.
Hey guys, I'm here with
Adam Houston.
Yeah, and so what made you want to go into a cappella?
So in high school, I did choir all 4 years, and I actually was in an a cappella group my senior year. And so when I got to App, I just knew that was something I wanted to do.
Do you still get any kind of nerves at all before you go on to any kind of performance?
Absolutely. I actually almost had to be sedated at Gedden. I was pretty nervous. It was that was definitely the largest amount of people I had performed in front of. It got worse when we got backstage, but as soon as we got our mics in our hands and the music started, it kind of just went away.
Yeah, I will admit that when I watched you guys, none of y'all looked nervous at all. You all looked like you were right at home, like it was another practice. If you had any kind of advice that you would give anyone thinking about going into a cappella, either in college or in high school, what would you say to them?
Do it. If I would have thought about it twice, I probably wouldn't have done it. But if you just go ahead and do it, you don't know what you're going to find. And you might enjoy it, and it might be something you do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and so what has been your favorite performance that you've done so far?
It would have to be Gedden. Yeah. One, because that's the only performance we've really done, but I don't know how you could really top that. There was an atmosphere there that was pretty special.
I will say I did like it when all of you guys started dancing throughout your different shows. It brought great energy and it was fun to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey neighbor, and I'm here with
Nick.
Hey Nick, so what made you want to go into acapella?
Well, I did choir all through high school. I was in vocal ensemble in this class called Madrigals, which was the proficient class in high school. And when I got to college, I didn't want my singing career to end, so I found an acapella group, Voicemail, and I joined it, and I loved it immediately, and I've been with it for 3 years.
That's great. So how did you find out about Voicemail?
Actually, at the Club Expo, I was just walking through, and this guy named Tyler, who used to be in the group, grabbed my shoulder, pulled me out of the crowd, and said, "Do you like to sing?" And I said, "I guess so." And so I wrote my name down, went to the audition, and here we are.
That's great advertisement. I love that.
I know, I love it too.
Do you still get nervous before any kind of performance at all?
A little bit. Yeah, like you have like the initial adrenaline rush, and then, but once I get on stage, it all just flushes out.
Yeah, do any of you or any of the other guys have any kind of like ritual, like thing you do before you go on at all?
Yeah, we do. We all huddle. We get in a big huddle, and we just kind of hype each other up, like kind of like in football, just like back and forth like that.
That's great. Do you feel any kind of difference between having just like a regular performance here versus like competing wise?
Like competitions are obviously more high stakes and it's like more stress, and just normal performances are like, they're pretty low stakes, but we still want to put on a good show, but they're not like, we're not going to be as stressed about it.
Yeah, and so if someone was looking to get into any kind of a cappella group, what kind of advice would you give them?
Just be yourself, sing what you can sing that you know you sing well, and just sing your heart out, really.
That's great. You heard the man. Be yourself and sing your heart out. Hi, neighbor. What a great show. All the performers did amazing. I know I enjoyed it, and I hope you did. Bye, neighbor.
Hey, didn't Ryan go to Cosmic Night at Lily's the other day?
Yeah, I think he was telling me about it. I think he said he had a blast, and then he actually got to talk to one of the bands.
Yeah, Raygun Superstar, I think was their name.
Yeah, that's right. Why don't we go take a look?
Yeah, I would love to learn more about them.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, neighbor. I'm Ryan Perrone, and I'm out here with Raygun Superstar, who is going to be performing tonight at Lily's. Now, I pulled these guys aside because I want to ask them a few questions. First of all, tell me a bit about yourself, like your genre as a band, who you guys are.
We're an indie rock band from Raleigh, North Carolina. Fitting kind of in the vein of Cage the Elephant,
Arctic
Monkeys,
Interpol.
Interpol.
Giant thing. We're our own thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Dancey indie rock.
Dancey indie rock.
All right. Now, you guys are from Raleigh, so that means you guys tour around. Now, how's that been going? Like, how long have you been touring?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's been good. We've played just kind of around North Carolina for the past 2 months, and then in Raleigh for about 2 months before that. Yeah.
A couple shows in Charlotte, up here a couple, Asheville,
yeah.
Chapel Hill, making our rounds.
All right. So, tell me about Raygun Superstar. Where'd that name come from?
Came from a friend of mine's band from Charlotte growing up. They had a song called Raygun Superstar that I just absolutely loved, and just kind of pay homage to that.
And I have to know, how did you guys get together? Like, how'd you all meet? Were you friends? Or did you just form naturally? How did this start?
Yeah, Alex, our drummer, and Jeremy, our keyboard player. Alex and Jeremy are brothers. Alec. Oh, wait, I'm Jack. And Alec. Alec and I are brothers. Okay. And Andrew and Marshall are friends. And Andrew, Marshall, Jeremy, and Alex were jamming together for a few weeks, and then they hit me up, and Alec and I showed up, and it's been a band since June.
All right, that's interesting. So when did you guys realize that you kind of hit the point where, like, you were confident and capable to want to go out and perform?
Nah. June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Practice number 2.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been working on some songs for a little while, and after a couple practices, we were just kind of like, this is, like we want to show this to people. We want to be doing this and playing out and kind of, see what other people think of it. And we got a lot of good reception in Raleigh from friends and family, and so we're pursuing it.
Now, I have one final question, and it's maybe a loaded one. What kind of advice would you give to other up-and-coming bands?
Practice. Practice with a metronome. Practice a lot.
Don't play in North Carolina. Go out and support the scene, man. Just get up in there, make a lot of friends, start talking to people, get to know people, know who's who. Have
fun.
Have fun, yeah, seriously.
All right, now that's all my questions. Now I do want to know, and I'm sure the audience would love to know too, do you guys have any upcoming releases for music? Do you guys have music posted up anywhere? And do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah, definitely. We got music coming out in the next few months. I think a single at the end of this month, and then should be a whole, our debut EP is coming out sometime in November, December. And then we got a show. You want to tell them about that one?
Yeah, we got our big EP release show in Raleigh at the Poorhouse on January 8th. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun time.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out and talking with me tonight. I really appreciate that. And I love the answers that you guys gave me. And yeah, I can't wait to hear you guys tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited to play.
Raygun Superstar Show is one of my favorite concerts that I've been to. As an indie rock fan myself, their music complemented the variety of music that the local bands bring to boot. Raygun was engaged with the audience and had a high-energy performance that was very memorable. Being an out-of-town band, they don't have many dedicated fans in the area, but the turnout was still very good for a local show. The guys were welcoming and friendly and have earned themselves a new fan. Be sure to check out their music when it's released and drop them a follow on their social media at Raygun Superstar on Instagram to keep up to date with any new shows, music releases, or just what the band is up to. Bye, neighbor.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We actually only have one last episode for this season, so be sure to follow us at hi_neighbor@TV on Instagram for more updates.
And don't forget to subscribe to @AppTV on our YouTube and Facebook page for more student-made content. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time,
bye neighbor!